Betrayal paid dearly. Angry Anne has finally come out to ban Meghan and Harry from the late Queen celebration at Balmoral. As we all know, the late Queen sadly passed away nearly a year ago on September 8th of 2022. It seems crazy that it's been that long, doesn't it? The anniversary of her passing is coming up just next month, and it seems like Prince Harry and Meghan have both not been invited to Balmoral, as the royal family is getting ready to mark the occasion by privately as well as publicly commemorating the year anniversary of her death. And that day is also going to mark the anniversary of the King's accession. A royal source has just claimed that Princess Anne finally is taking a stand by banning Meghan and Harry from the Queen's death anniversary. There are many of us out here who really believe their actions of depreciation and always aiming insulting remarks and being rude and honestly abuse shortened the lives of both Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth, and it certainly made their last days more miserable than they needed to be. A source has said, "It is my understanding that King Charles will spend the day in quiet reflection, much as his mother did at Sandringham each year on the anniversary of her father's death. As a close advisor to her brother, Princess Anne had insisted that traitors must receive a bitter end." Holding the ceremony as a private event is done to obscure the eyes of the public. In fact, it was an excuse for people to talk about Meghan and Harry being banned. They're non-working royals, so Harry and Meghan are simply not welcome to commemorate the day however they want to. Let's just hope they don't try to do some other cringe-worthy stunt like they did on Remembrance Day just a few years ago. Remember when they dressed up, Harry wearing his medals no less, and they walked through a U.S. veteran cemetery? Unfortunately, though, they are going to be in Germany, where they're going to be parading themselves around before the cameras for the Invictus Games in Dusseldorf. Now, these games start on September 9th and they end just a week later on September 16th. According to the German newspaper Rheinische Post, Prince Harry is planning to give a speech and Meghan's going to help to moderate the ceremony, whatever that means. We have heard it all before, though. Just when we thought these games were actually supposed to provide a center stage and focus on the disabled athletes for the benefit of whom the event was created in the first place, oh no, apparently we were wrong. Once again, we're going to have to watch Harry and Meghan flaunting themselves before the cameras and trying to steal all the thunder from those poor veterans. And you know good and well she's going to be using Invictus as a platform to parade around wearing her ill-fitting clothing like she did last year in the Netherlands. She is such a poser. But anyway, back to this event. All senior royal family members, including Prince Andrew, are expected to be at the anniversary ceremony at Balmoral. So have Meghan and Harry been snubbed because they weren't invited? Well, yeah, but you know what? Meghan deserves it, and I think it's pretty funny after the most recent birthday girl snub. This is obviously what she deserves. She deserves to be ignored by everybody, and especially by her own father-in-law. See, it's the adoration that really encourages her egotistical nature. If we take that away from her, we've got this isolated woman who is desperate for attention but isn't getting any. Meghan Markle is so wrapped up in herself, she thinks so highly of herself, and she only cares about herself. Not only is she greedy and narcissistic, but she's also incredibly egocentric. She's stuck up and she loves herself way too much. She's also incredibly dysfunctional and she's lost in her delusions. At this point, she is so lost in that fantasy world she lives in, I don't think there's any way for her to come back. And as for Harry, well, he was born with quite the silver spoon in his mouth, wasn't he? He was born into a world you and I could only dream about. Harry was always provided not only a gorgeous home to live in with everything laid out on a silver platter for him, but he was also offered unconditional love, not only by both his parents, but also by his grandmother, the late Queen, who loved him so much. She loved him like he were her own son. But instead of reciprocating that love and affection that he was offered, he decided to throw his own family under the bus. He was blinded by his love for that nasty demon he married. Now, many of us have no sympathy for either of them. Both of them deserve each other, if you ask me. Most people in the UK don't ever want to see the two of them again, so it's just as well that the invitations have not been extended to the two. I mean, still, it's only a snub. It's not really that big of a deal, and in fact, I think it's an incredibly small price to pay for Megxit and the way they step back from royal duties, and also that horrible memoir Harry released in January. Another thing is that they claim they care so much about their privacy, and they want to be independent. Well, all right then, they have that to look forward to without any of the royal trappings or obligations. The thing is, when you lay your own bed, you get to sleep in it. and it's called payback. Something unconducive that is done to you because of something horrible that you have done yourself. Harry, I hope that eventually you can learn. I know that you're pretty thick, so maybe it's going to take a while, but I hope eventually you can do it. I also just don't understand why they do the things they do. What is Meghan's agenda? Is she just trying to destroy everything in her wake? The one question that never really gets an answer is why. Is it all done for Netflix and Spotify to make a little money? Is it really her only mission in life to make some money for herself, and then she's going to step over anybody in her way, including Harry? If he doesn't play her game, boy, I worry what's going to happen to him. I hope that somebody somewhere can be a whistleblower. Meghan Markle needs a takedown. She's going to play this game until somebody steps in and stops her. She believes that she is actually winning because nobody dares to stop her, not even Harry. How long is she going to get away with this, though? So apparently they're flying commercial because for the last 2 weeks, Meghan Markle has been spreading her lies. She thinks this is going to make them look good somehow. Well, I don't think that's going to work. And of course, again, the issue of no children is a big issue. Who even watches these fake freaks? I do wish that Thomas Markle would speak out against her. I know he raised her, but he knows more than any of us how horrible she really is. She is a very disturbed individual, and nobody can live up to her standards. She really believes that she's so amazing, and she's proud of herself. She hit the ground running with a secret agenda. She wasn't trying to modernize the royal family, though, she was trying to destroy it. Meghan Markle is quite unlike anybody we have ever seen or heard of before. She's got no empathy, no humor, no forgiveness, no respect. The list goes on and on of normal qualities that Meghan Markle simply doesn't have. She does have an amazing ability, though, to tell barefaced lies without care for the consequences, among which the offending of people all around the world and almost entire countries is included. People are becoming wary of her, though. This behavior pattern seems programmed somehow. It seems inhuman. Unfortunately for the two of them, they could never start up a royal family. And we still don't know for sure who Harry's father really is. I mean, he claims that even he doesn't know. Meghan, though, is certainly not royal. And she's all upset that the media doesn't like her. She really believes that she and Harry should somehow be king and queen. And really, she did study the royal family. Harry's never going to be king, thank goodness, and she has to know that. They couldn't try to start their own branch of the royal family if they tried, and she's just angry that Charles has stopped giving them money. Harry's inheritance money is carefully controlled, and I'm sure that Meghan married him to get up a rung on the social ladder. She wanted to be admired, but clearly that little plan didn't work. She was a nobody, she still is a nobody, and Harry's basically the same, except he had that title. Meghan wanted to ride the wave. Well, it looks like that wave is crashing, and her empty threats are exactly that. They're empty. Nobody is going to trust either of them. Meghan and Harry's actions have multiple reasons behind them, really. It could all be just for the attention, or maybe they're trying to settle scores because they believe they couldn't change the monarchy so that they could just override the line of succession. Or maybe it's because they know they have nothing else to offer, or they believe eventually the royal family is going to give in to them. Maybe they want to really create a royal family in the US, so that way they have to diminish the real royal family in some way, shape, or form. And there are some other reasons that I haven't discussed, and it could be one of these or maybe even all of these. But I do believe good people are not going to buy into this kind of awful behavior. Meghan was only married to Harry a little over a year and a half before they ran away to Canada, and then they came back to announce that they decided to step away, and then they left again, and then they came back and said that it was final. So essentially, they have been gone longer than they actually were working royals. I mean, who acts like this after leaving a job so long after they left the job? Who is going to beg for benefits from their job 2 years after they quit? Who's going to go on TV and have interviews in magazines after quitting their jobs and talk so bad about their employer? Who could do something like that to their family, especially? Who do you know who doesn't seem to get along with either side of the family? It says a lot about who they are. What kind of evil person does not check on their own father when he had a heart attack or a stroke just because he spoke to some reporters and he posed for some photos before the wedding? But this is the same person who went on national TV and talked bad about a family who gave them the very platform they appeared to be using against them. Who believes they could do stuff like that and that other people are going to trust them not to do it if you cross them? Who do they think they are? And you, what do you think about Meghan and Harry? Please tell me what you think below in the comments. Don't be afraid to like and share my video with your friends and relatives who need it anytime you want. And don't be afraid to click the subscribe button to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in, have a lovely weekend, and we'll be back to see you all tomorrow.